You still with me and life is beautiful. नेपालमा महिला बेचबिखन र हिंसाको विषय राष्ट्रिय लज्जा भइसकेको कुरा हामी प्रत्येक नेपालीहरू नागरिकले फिल गरिसकेका छौं र त्यसमाथि पनि अब आएर यो मेरो समस्या होइन भनेर पन्छिन खोज्नु मलाई लाग्छ कि यो 21st सेन्चुरी को शब्दावलीमा पर्दैन। आफ्नै चेलीबेटी त्यसमाथि पनि एकदमै कलिला उमेरका बालिकाहरूलाई पैसाको प्रलोभनमा मुठीभर व्यक्तिहरूबाट बेचिन्छन् र राज्य निरीह अनि निर्लज्ज भएर अझै पनि वैदेशिक सहयोगकै झोली थापिरहेका छन्। यस्तो अवस्थामा राष्ट्रपति अलिकति पनि सचेत र जिम्मेवार व्यक्तिहरूको निमित्त नागरिकहरूको निमित्त यो भन्दा पनि ठूलो पीडाको विषय अरु के होला? नेपाललाई माया गर्ने र नेपालमा विद्यमान अनेकौं सामाजिक समस्याहरूलाई अन्त्य गर्ने को लागि उपाय खोजी गरिरहेका असाधारण युवाहरूमध्ये एकसँग मेरो भेट भएको थियो जसको नाम हो Shabnaz Yusuf, and she is going to buzz about her work in understanding trafficking in Nepal in our segment Buzz Beautiful.
Hello, my name is Shabnaz Yusuf. I am a student from the University of San Diego in California, and I had the fortunate experience of traveling to Nepal for 3 months this summer, and I've experienced the most beautiful country so far. I've had many wonderful friends made along the way, most of them in Kathmandu as well as in Bhaktapur. I've had the pleasure of traveling to many places in Kathmandu and meeting people who are influential in politics, people who are working in NGOs, people who are making a big change here in this wonderful country. I recently became affiliated with an organization by the name of Raksha Nepal, which is an NGO working to end trafficking and sexual exploitation of women and girls here in Nepal. Raksha Nepal has saved hundreds of thousands of girls from sexual exploitation and is a wonderful NGO that I've been very blessed to work with. And before I say more, I'm going to take you with me to their office right here in Kathmandu. So come along. When I first came here, I had done quite a bit of research on Nepal and trafficking, but I did not know the extent of the problem until I arrived here. I learned that there are hundreds of thousands of girls who were displaced by the conflict, and many of them ended up in the cities looking for jobs in order to support their families, and instead were taken into cabin bars, restaurants, massage parlors, and made to work in very demeaning settings. And this is just the internal trafficking and doesn't account for the external trafficking. When I first arrived at Raksha Nepal, I was shocked by the stories that were unfolding in front of me. One of my goals here has been to collect stories of women and to document them, because I feel that history is sometimes is biased towards the men's perspective. Especially during war, women and children are affected far more greatly than men are in many cases. And so what I wanted to do was write down women's stories, and as I started to ask questions and as I started learning more about the organization, it became very clear to me that the stories are not just limited to 1 or 2 women or girls, but are actually stories of hundreds of thousands of girls who have not had a chance to tell their stories. One of my roles at the organization is to teach English conversational songs writing to women and girls at the Raksha Women's School. Something else about Raksha is that they actually provide a shelter for 21 children who don't have another place to go. So I've spent some time with the children as well, teaching them English and taking photographs and just giving them a different way of expressing themselves and using art as a form of expression and as a form of healing for some of the trauma that they've been through.
भएपछि डाक्टर बन्छ पुलिस बन्ने
Many of these children have received educational opportunities due to very generous donations by the international community and by the people of Nepal. However, half of the children are currently not attending school due to a lack of school supplies, uniforms, shoes, belts, and ties that are needed for their school. Sitting here with me are 11 children who currently are not going to school because they don't have the shoes that are required by their school. About 1,500 girls and women have received vocational training at Raksha, Nepal. And here are two beautiful girls standing and sitting with me. And they've both benefited tremendously from the training that they've received. Munna went through 6 months of basic tailoring. Munna also is now a leader and an activist in the community, and she goes out into various dance bars, massage parlors, and she speaks to girls who've been exploited, and she tells them about their options. So they're learning about their options out there, and they can actually become more empowered, and they can leave the profession and come and get help from Raksha Nepal.
हुन त मसँग मेरा धेरै साथीहरू पनि हुनुहुन्थ्यो मसँगै बस्ने र उहाँहरूले नि मसँगै ट्रेनिङ लिनुभयो तर अब उहाँहरू चाहिँ म भन्दा पनि छिटो चाहिँ उहाँहरू गइसक्नु भयो तर म चाहिँ हिजो मैले जे कुरा भोगे त्यो चाहिँ आगामी दिनमा कुनै पनि दिदी बहिनीहरूले चाहिँ भोग्न नपरोस् भनेर चाहिँ मैले जस्तो दुःखहरू बिहोरे त्यो चाहिँ उहाँहरूले बिहोर्न नपरोस् भनेर चाहिँ म उहाँहरूको लागि चाहिँ यहाँको माम मिसहरूसँग चाहिँ मिलेर उहाँहरूको हात समाउँदै चाहिँ अगाडि बढिरहेको छु र यहाँ एउटा स्टाफको रूपमा काम गरिरहेको छु.
I think it's really important that people know that when an organization has a big name and is a very famous organization, they tend to get a lot of funding because people know about them. And so funders and individual donations will often go to that organization, which is wonderful. But then the smaller organizations who are doing a lot of the hands-on work and who are working in the smaller communities don't get that money. And so I'm putting out a plea, an urgent plea for people who are interested in helping girls who've been exploited into this business. There is an organization that is smaller and that is reaching a lot of communities, and they're doing wonderful work. They're actually turning lives around, but they don't have the funding that the large organizations have. And if they could get access to that funding, it would make a huge difference.
कार्यक्रमको नामै लाइफ इज ब्युटिफुल एकदमै साच्चै भन्ने भने मलाई पनि पहिला चाहिँ कोही पनि छैन भनेपछि यो लाइफको काम छैन भनेर झन्नै म त 2-3 चोटी पोइजन पनि खाइसकेको मान्छे तर मलाई चाहिँ यही लाइफ इज ब्युटिफुल कार्यक्रममा आएर आफ्नो लाइफको सुन्दरताको पक्षहरू केलाउनु रहेछ र भगवानले मलाई बचाएको होला जस्तो लाग्छ त्यही भएर यो क्याबिन डान्स मसाजमा काम गर्ने दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई नै म चाहिँ तपाईहरुको जीवन पनि एकदमै ब्युटिफुल छ र हामीले उठाउन खोजेका विषयहरू पनि त्यो पेशालाई सम्मान गर्यौं भने ती दिदीबहिनीलाई पुनर्स्थापना आफै हुन्छ किनभने ती दिदीबहिनीलाई अहिले त्यो ठाउँमा जुन क्याबिनमा काम गर्न मसाजमा काम गर्न भनेर जानुभयो तर त्यहाँ गएपछि उहाँलाई यौन शोषणमा पर्नु परेपछि ती दिदीबहिनीले चाहिँ वैकल्पिक पेशा खोजेका हुन् नत्र उहाँलाई वैकल्पिक पेशा यदि त्यही ठाउँलाई सम्मान गर्न सक्यो भने विकल्प पनि चाहिँदैन जब मान्छेले एउटा त्यो ठाउँमा असन्तुष्टि भएपछि बल्ल विकल्प खोज्ने हो त्यसैले त्यो पेशालाई मर्यादित बनाउनको लागि यसमा विशेष गरी चाहिँ नेपाल सरकारको दायित्व छ हामीले पनि त्यसलाई उठाउन सक्नुपर्छ र विशेष गरी क्याबिनमा डान्समा मसाजमा काम गर्ने दिदीबहिनीहरू आफैले पनि मेरो अधिकार के हो र मैले यहाँ कतिसम्म चाहिँ प्रस्तुत हुन मिल्दछ त भन्ने कुराहरू दिदीबहिनीहरू पनि सचेत हुनु पर्यो तपाईको जीवन पनि एकदमै मूल्यवान छ आफ्नो जीवनलाई मूल्यहीन नठान्दिनुस् भन्न चाहन्छु
Some
रक्षा नेपालले गरेको कार्य सराहनीय छ। यसो त माइती नेपाल जस्तो संस्थाले यस विरुद्ध छेडेको युद्ध पनि 15 वर्ष नागिसकेको छ। तर समस्या झन बढ्नाले संघ संस्थाले मात्र यो समस्या समाधान गर्न सक्दैन र यो केवल एउटा सानो राहत मात्र हो। महिला हिंसा बेचबिखनको बारेमा कदक्चुकी चर्चा सेमिनार सभा गरे तापनि र विदेशबाट जतिसुकै सहयोग प्राप्त भए तापनि यसको मूल समाधान भने दण्डहीनताको अन्त्य नै हो। यो हामी सबैले बुझेका छौं, थाहा छ पनि। त्यसै कारणले गर्दाखेरि इतिहासले एक दिन यसको सही र उचित मूल्याङ्कन अवश्य पनि गर्नेछ भन्दै कार्यक्रममा बिदा माग्दैछु म प्रभा म्याथ्यू। See you next week, same time, same channel. Till then, stay beautiful inside and out.